37th Ward. Happy non-tornado Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I'm Emma Mitz, 37th Ward Alderman, and I'm excited. We've survived more than 10 tornadoes reported in stormy Chicago over the last 2 nights, including near both airports and across the Chicago. And with weather, sirens, bearing power outage, drenching rain, thundering, lightning, and falling trees, we made it through once again. While we're still assessing, know that Chicago's efforts are currently on the way to clear the weather damage. And over here in Austin, we know a little something about storm-related flood damage, don't we? We've been through the storm. Well, today, we have better, brighter stories to tell. Thank you for connecting us here today in the great 37th Ward for some good and very timely news. Please join me in giving a bright, bold west side to a humble yet effective. I gotta let that motorcycle pass. Yet effective man with Chicago's best side, which is the west side roots. He's a champion for constructing community change, a profound politician, the city of Chicago's newest dynamic leader, and innovative, progressive, and engaged chief executive with the spirit of a positive action. Equally important, this is a man that is dedicated to public service, who sees, he hears, and respects and responds to the needs of the people in the neighborhood across the city of Chicago. That is why we are here today to share some exciting news about flood relief assistance occurred July 2nd of 2023. So if my distinct pleasure, and I'm asking you to join me in giving a big round of applause to the Honorable Mayor Brandon Johnson, the 57th Mayor of the City of Chicago. Thank you, Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Alderwoman Mitz, for that introduction and for your leadership, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you all for being here this afternoon for me to provide an update of the city's efforts to support the residents who were affected by last summer's historic and devastating flooding. You will recall that over the 4th of July weekend in 2023, 8 to 12 inches of rain, severe weather caused flooding in the homes of many West Side residents. Chicagoans experienced substantial damage to their basements and property. The people were displaced, they lost furniture, they lost furnaces, cars, and memories. While the city could never replace the precious items that were lost, we went right to work to partner with Cook County and the state of Illinois to provide relief to our residents, as well as to mitigate the impact of this disaster. As some examples of that work, the following days: the flooding, DSSS, Chicago Department of Transportation, collected over 2,000 tons of storm-damaged debris and responded to over 18,000 tree emergencies citywide. OEMC and DWM delivered over 1,400 Salvation Army and American Red Cross flood emergency kits. And most importantly, we declared this issue a federal disaster, and as a result, President Biden's administration, along with FEMA, provided more than $172 million in federal funding to assist with home repairs, low-cost loans, and recovery efforts. But we know, thank you, that's worth clapping for, yes. But we know that there's still much work to be done, and that's why I'm proud to announce today that my administration, the Department of Housing, we have secured an additional $5 million for the Flood Assistance Repair Program. This investment will help homeowners, primarily seniors, residing in single-family or 1 to 2 unit properties on the west side of Chicago, whose homes suffered significant damage from the last year's rain. Eligible homeowners will receive up to $25,000 for remediation and restoration of health and safety issues in their basements. It's important to note that there is no application process for this funding. I'll say that one more time. There is no application process for this funding. DOH is working directly with community organizations to identify and reach those who are most in need of this support. And furthermore, DOH will continue to engage with Black and brown general contractors and construction firms who will conduct the recovery work, ensuring that the full force of government and those who were impacted and those who deliver the service look like the people who are closest to the pain. Finally, the Flood Assistance Repair Program is a continuation of our commitment to uplifting vulnerable residents and strengthening our communities. And let me be clear, the unprecedented flooding that we experienced last summer is certainly the effect of climate change. That is why we are also committed to fighting for a greener and more resilient and sustainable future. The earth is speaking to us, you all. And she is speaking to us loud and clear. So extreme weather is increasing across the country and the globe. So it's important, and it's no coincidence, however, that the flooding that occurred in an historically disinvested community. We are acutely aware of climate change, and most impacts communities of color, and due to policies of neglect that have left these communities behind, and of course has caused a tremendous amount of vulnerability. Our investment today is just one example of our continued investment. From the $1.25 billion investment for economic development and housing, the largest investment in the history of Chicago, for a bond in the history of Chicago, the largest in the history of Chicago, of which $5 million has already been brought to the west side of Chicago. The full force of government will continue to take action to support our residents to ultimately build a better, stronger, and a much safer Chicago. God bless you. And with that, the Department of Housing. With that, you will hear next from the Department of Housing Commissioner Lisette Castaneda. But before I do that, I want to thank all of the elected officials that have joined me. So I come from a very large family. You know, Westsiders, we don't travel alone. We come deep. And so we have the Alder of the 24th Ward. Thank her for being here, Monique Scott. We also have my Alderman of the 29th Ward, Chris Taliaferro. We have my Cook County Commissioner, Tara Stamps. And then we have my also state representative. You all make her feel really good, you all. She's been pressing her way through. Camille Y. Lilly. We also have the Commissioner of Water. Randy Connor is here as well. Commissioner Castaneda, please give her a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you all so much for being here today, and thank you so much for having me out to the beautiful 37th Ward on the west side here. It is my honor to stand before you and along with Mayor Johnson as we announce this critical step forward in our ongoing efforts to support the residents of Chicago. I am thrilled that we have secured an additional $5 million for the 2024 Flood Assistance Repair Program. As you know, this funding comes as a response to the severe flooding that impacted our city last July and caused extensive damages to homes, particularly on the west side. While we have long been saying that cities need to be sustainable, it is equally important that they are resilient, able to withstand the shocks and stresses, and able to bounce back or transform, depending on what the moment calls for. Most of the world's population lives in an urban center, and as we continue facing environmental crises, it is our duty to ensure that Chicago can always stand on its feet. With the Flood Assistance Repair Program, our primary focus is on assisting up to 200 homeowners, most of whom are seniors, living in single-family or 1 or 2 unit properties. These funds will be used to provide much-needed relief and support for the remediation and restoration of health and safety issues in their homes. Our administration is dedicated to supporting Chicagoans who have been adversely affected by natural disasters. This program is a vital step in ensuring that our residents, especially our seniors, can live safely and comfortably in their homes. We are committed to rebuilding and strengthening our communities with resilience and care. I want to take a moment to thank a few people. Obviously, the Black Caucus, Chairwoman Stephanie Coleman, Alderwoman Mintz, and their cohort, as they have been incredible allies as we ensured that this money was able to be used in this way. Of course, I do not do the work of the Department of Housing alone. I want to thank Deputy Commissioner Christopher Smith and all the team at DOH that has been working very hard to put this together. And last but certainly not least, we cannot do this work without the community who has been on the ground since day one. With that, I would like to introduce Princess Shaw.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say thank you, Mayor Johnson, for coming out and hearing our cry. I want to say thank you to all the Black elected officials that are here today, because they have been very instrumental in hearing our cries and making sure that we come together for a comprehensive plan. I am very hopeful that with this announcement today, that we are able to move forward with a comprehensive plan of making the West Side, not just the West Side, but Chicago resilient again, like it was when we were growing up. When we had mom and pa's on the block, and if they seen your children doing something they had no business, they would reach out and touch them in many ways than one, but we knew it was out of love. And so with this new program that's being initiated, I am looking forward to the partnership with local organizations, with the mayor's office, with our automatic offices, because it's needed. It's been well past needed, but I'm just glad that we're able to start somewhere. And I'm glad to see that we have a Black mayor that is no longer going to allow us to continue to be left behind. And I just want to say, Mayor, again, thank you so much. This was well needed. We do have a West Side Long-Term Recovery Group that we have initiated, and that's been the name of the group that has been boots on the ground since day one. And we're going to continue to be here because this is our community. The different organizations that have come out to help out, we just ask you to continue to stand strong with us and continue to help, because together we have to make this work. There is definitely a solution in working together, and that's the only way we can make this work. And I just want to say thank you again, Mayor. The next person that's coming up after me is going to be Sarithia Gibbs.
That's okay. Hi, I'm Sarithia Gibbs, representing McDLP Construction Corp today, and I'd like to thank the mayor, Alderman Mitz and all of the community stakeholders here today for giving us an opportunity to come out to Austin just to speak with you guys. All right, so our team understands the impact that access to funding, determined community stakeholders, and solid leadership has in rebuilding communities after major disasters. The launching of the Flood Assistance Program through the 2024 Home Repair Program is a testament to the resilience, the determination, and the transformative power of Alderman Mitz and stakeholders like Princess, and the community as a whole for that matter. In the aftermath of natural or man-made disasters, communities face immense challenges which we have experienced since last year. The MIC DLP team is hopeful that the additional flood assistance program funding that was secured by the city, a proven process demonstrated in the Chicago Department of Housing Home Repair Program, coupled with community partnership, will allow Austin and communities like Austin to rebuild and restore. The MIC DLP team has successfully completed dozens of home repairs for seniors and others in the need of assistance through the Department of Housing repair programs. We've provided quality craftsmanship and safer homes for the most at risk and vulnerable. The MIC DLP team understands that quality and safety are non-negotiable principles in post-disaster construction. And our team is ready to support the expansion of the home repair program to provide the same level of quality and craftsmanship and responsiveness to address and remedy unsafe conditions due to previous basements flooding. So again, as Mayor Johnson, the Department of Housing, and Alderman Mitz and the stakeholders in the community continue to work tirelessly to help homeowners and long-term residents impacted by flooding, know that the MIC DLP team is ready to support their efforts and assist in making this program successful. Thank you. All right, I have the pleasure of introducing Mary and George Crump from the community. That's awesome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to say to the mayor and all of you dignitaries here, some I know, some I don't, but I thank you all for being here. I'm just telling my little story. I had the flood in 2023 and left my house in bad shape. And I was in such a dilemma that how am I get this done? And the FEMA people came in with Princess and made me feel better. I thank you for what you've done, but we need more done at my house and some of the others. And I appreciate everything. And I'm hoping that we all gain something from this, from these people coming to our rescue. And I thank you.
No, that's right. George is just making sure that Mary is good. That's what his number one assignment was today, and he did it. Let's give it up for the Crump family. I'll take questions, but I do want to make sure that we acknowledge a few of the folks that are here. Thank you to the commander of the 15th District. Commander Morse is here. And then we had Pastor Jakes was here, but he had to leave. But I see that from Congressman Davis's office, but we also have Pastor Robbie Robb is with us today. I'll give it up for Pastor Robb. And he clearly brought his wife's daughter. Boy, she's a split image of Tasha. And then the IPO, 290 IPO community members, thank you all for being here as well. Thank you. And then one of my dear friends and neighbors, Brother G2 Brown. Thank you for being here, G2 Brown. Again, this is just a display of what it means to bring people together. And again, I cannot thank the leadership of Alderwoman Mintz enough, as well as the rest of the City Council, Black Caucus in particular, Talia Faro. Alderman Irvin is here too. Give him a nice round of applause. And Monique Scott. So clearly the word got out. If more Westsiders show up, that's just kind of what we do. So thank you again. With that, we'll take questions.
We've only got time for 2 questions. We're going to start right here.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Talk about your decision to remove the George Washington statue from the 5th floor. What is your vision
Can
on
we
what
do
you
one
want?
topic questions first? I'll try to get back to that. Okay. I'm happy to answer. Are there any on-topic questions about the west side of the city of Chicago, the entire city receiving support?
So that we can look up yourself.
Hi, Leah Hope, ABC 7.
Hey, hi, Leah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You mentioned that people do not have to apply. Now, I know from covering this for the last year that there are people who have not applied, given up on applying. How is it that those who need it are going to get this funding?
Well, thank you for that question. Again, first of all, the first $172 million that showed up in the city of Chicago, that did play a part in the recovery. Same thing with full force of government coming through to move the debris to help clean basements. As far as the process, that's why we're working with community-based organizations. That's why we're working with the Department of Housing for that process to be streamlined. But if you want to add to that, please.
Yeah, should people go to those organizations or how to connect?
So for, as you referenced, right, for the last year plus at this point, folks have been reaching out to organizations like the Long-Term Recovery Group, like Westside Health Authority. They've been reaching out to alder people's offices, like Alderwoman Emma Mintz and other Westside alders. And so we are deeply plugged in to like the boots on the ground folks that have been doing the work and that have been connecting with the people that need it the most. And so when we reference there's no application process, it's also because we understand that people have provided their information to FEMA. People have provided their information to any number of places. And so we are working with them so that we can streamline those processes and make sure that those folks that have already been identified as needing help are the ones that we are able to help.
And you mentioned that this will probably help about 200 families. I know the Westside Long-Term Recovery Organization, last I talked, I think you had over 200, maybe even 300 families waiting for help.
Well, this is not the end of our efforts. The good thing about my administration is we're here for the next 23 years. Now, it's not going to take 23 years to get that done, but over the course of our term, we're going to do a lot of work. Look, we showed up day one, and we're still here. We're not going away. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that every single family recovers. We'll take another on-topic question. I'll take another on-topic question from the media.
Hi, Caitlin Washburn with the Sun-Times. I'm wondering if the city assessed the damage from the last couple of days, and if there are people who experienced flood damage, what the plans will be for those folks.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Connor.
Good afternoon again, Randy Cobb, Commissioner, Department of Water Management. Over the past few days, we have assessed the situation, and the numbers have really started to come in now that people got up this morning and really started to see any water in their basements. Those numbers were relatively low, probably around 50 or 60 with homes with water in the basements. We have actually started addressing those issues with some system-wide cleaning and some system-wide love that we're giving out right now. So we're looking hopefully for those numbers to be at 0 by the time that the end of the day comes.
All right, thank you all very much.
Mayor, what's your vision on what you want to replace the statue? Can you talk about how that fits into your overall vision?